this is afternoon evening. Where are we now? The days continue to march with weekend because we are all busy. You should be somewhere now enjoying the good weather, but you are here. So I just want to follow Dr. Morai, the director of the program, to thank you for being here. I'm going to briefly speak about myself and my area of expertise. My name is Lasisi Ajari. It's not difficult to pronounce. Lasisi, 3 syllables. And unfortunately, it's pronounced like Hispanic language because there is a correspondence between the orthography and the pronunciation. Lasisi, that's the way you write it. So, I'm the chair of Teacher Education and Foundations Department. We produce teachers, and most of you here probably, a lot of you probably came out of our teacher preparation program, and we have a very solid programs in our department, single subject and multiple subjects. So about my area of expertise. I like to work and have published probably more than 50 research articles in different areas, including language literacy education, new media and multimodal practices, education for sustainable development. That is now my new project. As we all see, as we all hear, that the climate change that is bringing weather that is sometimes arbitrary, sometimes kind of today is terribly hot, tomorrow is terribly cold. So, and researchers feel it's because of human activities. So for me now, I want to devote probably the rest of my research area, or my research time, to the topic of education for sustainable development. And also we are having a conference about this topic. Please check the teacher education website. You will see the different areas. The first, this year, October 11 to October 12, is going to be in China, but next year it's going to be here. If you are interested in the area of education for sustainable development, whether you are teaching in high school, elementary school, or a school principal, or school administrator, or policymaker, this area is very, very useful because we need to protect our environment. I'm also interested in working in leadership in higher education. As I told you, this is my 5th year of serving as the chair of teacher education and foundations department, the largest department on campus. We have about close to 100 full-time faculty, lecturers, and fieldwork supervisors. So we have the largest number of faculty on campus. So also, the area I also have written and published include this topic: diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I have done some work and published some of my work in that area. Lastly, I'm interested in educational policy analysis. Again, that's an important area because from time to time, we tangle with the policymakers because we feel they just come together, probably get some wine into their system and just say, let's put this policy out and let them. So for us, it's our job to push back, critique it, say what is right, what is wrong about their policy. So these are the areas that I like to work with anybody who is interested in this area. So for the next for the next 1 hour, I will be roaming around. So if you're interested in working with me, I have time to work with you in these areas. Thank you.
Dr. Victor Wing? Dr. Victor Wing?
Victor.
It should be on.
I am Dr. Yuki's photographer. I will follow him. My name is Victor Wang. I joined CSUSD in 2021. So I keep telling my colleagues and students, East or West, CSUSD is the best.
Oh, I like that. Hey, I like that. Yes.
You can check out my podcast programs on my university website. I have 2 podcast programs. And that's what I say to everyone around me. This is the 4th public university I'm working for. So I've worked for quite a few public universities and private universities. I started chairing dissertations in 2008. So far, I've graduated probably around 80. Because I still work as an adjunct professor for a research 2 university. And between last year and now, I graduated 5 dissertation candidates. So the number, has been on the increase. I was lucky to have taught a class, CTE leadership in community college, cohort 15. And we have our student president, Ed.D here. I don't know anybody from cohort 16 or 17, but I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm looking forward to setting up a helping relationship between you and me. And so a little bit about my background. I brought 4 books on research methods and 3 books on educational leadership and 1 copy of my journal, open access articles for the whole year 2023. So I have published 57 refereed books, 65 journal articles, and the rest of them are refereed book chapters. So altogether, I have more than 240 refereed publications. And my publications revolve around the programs I work for. So at this point, I am the CTE coordinator and a professor in the educational leadership department. And I also publish my works in teacher education, foundation, research methods, leadership and management. And so if you, I'll be here, for the rest of the time until 6. And just feel free to check out my publications here. And I'm here, to share with you my publications. And from time to time, if I happen to have a quality dissertation and I help my dissertation student to turn that dissertation into a refereed journal article or a refereed book chapter. And over the years, I don't know how many letters of recommendation I've written for my scholars. I've written letters of recommendation for department chairs and associate deans. And so these scholars use their publications with me to secure tenure and promotion and perhaps a further employment. So this is what I've been doing. So you guys, it's not,
yeah.
it's not,
Whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready.
This is very important because I've worked for so many universities and I've inherited a lot of dissertation templates and checklists, okay? And so if you want to write your dissertation based on quantitative analysis, and I will send you a template and a checklist.
if you want to write a dissertation on qualitative analysis, right? I will send you a different template and checklist. And if you write your dissertation based on applied research, okay, this is the template I use and the checklist. I send you the Word files. Okay, so your job is to leave no stones unturned, okay? You need to do thorough research, okay? And I may assign you additional assignments. For example, why don't you write your topical reference list? And why don't you do your literature review? Okay, write a 20 to 30 page long literature review. And finally, I may ask you to write a research proposal, right? And so you just use my template and checklist. It's pretty much like filling the blanks, okay? So within 2 semesters, bingo, you graduate. You defend your dissertation, and you pass, and you graduate. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to remind you guys as well, I'm switching the profiles on here because some of them are new faculty and they don't have a profile yet, but they will be updated, so those QR codes will pull up. And here's one of our newest faculty that's to join us.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ray Hu. I just got my PhD degree in statistics last year, so this is my first academic year at CSUSD. And I came from mathematics department, and my major was statistics. And I just joined this program from this year. I would like to share more about my experience before. So about education, I have several years about teaching experience in high school and universities, especially undergraduate and graduate level, but all of them are about mathematics and statistics. So I hope to share more on my personal research, and I think I want to share it in 2 aspects. The first one can be more relevant to our program. So I have more experience on stats method or machine learning based method. I think for most subjects recently, people like to have some questionnaires, have some clinical trials, some experimental design, and finally we need to analyze those data. And I think I'm more proficient in how to utilize this data set and how to have some maybe not fancy method if you want, but maybe not fancy method, but just some plain method, but we can explain it well. And we know how to transfer the data set into some plain language that can be explained or understandable by those who never learn statistics, who know nothing about math. They can also understand what we're doing and what is your contribution in this program. So as I mentioned, this is my first year in this program. I don't have a specific experience about the procedures like the format, but I'm sure I can provide good help on your dissertation writing or some kind of qualitative analysis. And secondly, I want to share more about my personal research experience. That is about statistical analysis and machine learning. And I focus more on dimension reduction methods. So I just want to avoid those tedious terms. So if I just want to explain this to people who never learned statistics before, just imagine you are living in an era where we have a huge amount of data with a lot of variables and features. And I can help you, and my method can help you to reduce the dimension of the data set. It means I can use a small set of data to explain more information as we want. So I hope this can be also helpful in your future study and research topic. And also I will be here until 6. So I'm willing to talk with you if you have any questions or any interest to work with you. I can be part of your maybe first, second, or third graders, maybe first or second, I guess. And that's all to me, I guess. Any
Awesome.
question, or that's all for my part?
Perfect.
There's a question, there was a question.
For faculty.
All right, Dr.
You're gonna come up here and sit on the X. Or standing on the X, not sitting. Right, you'll be invisible.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Nancy Stone McDonald. I'm a professor of special education and the chair of the special education rehabilitation and counseling department. I've been at CSUSD since 2022. Prior to that, I was at UMass Boston for 12 years, where I served as an associate professor and an associate dean for grants and research, as well as starting a PhD program in early childhood there. So I bridged the areas of early childhood education and special education. I've worked in special education everywhere from birth through adult, although my love is preschool and below personally. And I worked in a program that's, when I was in Boston, that's early childhood with the focus, my focus being on early intervention and early childhood special ed preschool. Whereas here I'm now in a department that's special education focused. So I have some pieces there. And when I was in UMass Boston, we started a PhD program in early childhood education, and so I've had 12 doctoral students from that program, and 2 of them are finishing this year. So those will be my final 2 from that institution. And so I mentioned what I love. I've been a preschool teacher for students with severe and profound disabilities who are medically fragile. But I've done everything in the inclusive early childhood realm, and my research is on early childhood special education and early intervention personnel preparation, as well as focusing on autism, and looking at early childhood inclusive STEM education. So I have a book on engaging young engineers with some of my colleagues that we're working on, and a new one coming out on early childhood science that's inclusive. So let's see, autism, and I've also done some work on assessment. So we're looking at how well are assessments given for eligibility determination in various settings, and how does that impact who gets identified and who doesn't get identified, and what that means for our children as well as for the numbers in the system and who gets care. So I think that's all.
Awesome.
I will be here till 6, like everyone else. And I'm happy to talk to any of you. I guess I will also add that I have worked, my own personal research tends to be more qualitative, but I do some quantitative and mixed methods work, but I have chaired dissertations that are quantitative, qualitative and mixed methods. But if you really want the deep statistics, I think you should talk to our previous speaker. They will know that better. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jose Munoz. I'm the Assistant Dean for Student Success in the College of Social Behavioral Sciences, and I'm a full professor of sociology. I'm just going to talk about what I've done and decide whether any of this is relevant. I have studied leadership. I studied leadership models for dealing with conflict within social movement coalitions in Mexico City. I think leadership in any setting probably has a lot of overlap. One of the cases I looked at was how do teachers and university professors combat the privatization of education. This case, this was in a coalition with unions and activists in the US and Canada. I've also studied how leaders in Mexican hometown associations work on large-scale development projects between California and various parts of Mexico. My research in the last 5 years has focused on higher education. I got a National Science Foundation grant for $100,000, where I was a co-PI with a colleague at the University of Florida. And we studied Latino STEM faculty who work part-time in the CSU. So we invited 24 part-time faculty from Latino backgrounds across different STEM areas. to understand their barriers, their work lives, the kinds of challenges they face as contingent faculty, part-time faculty. A lot of you probably had part-time faculty and never knew it. They face a lot, and we publish some articles, some standard journals based on that. I was part of the American Sociological Association Task Force on first gen and working class persons in sociology. We collected 2,000 surveys on faculty and graduate students in sociology. And we published a report and 2 journal articles in Socius and the Sociology of Education. Those are 2 of sociology's flagship journals. All this is available on my website, on my faculty page in the sociology department. I do other STEM work. I am a co-PI on experiential learning, experiential computing and engaged learning STEM award. It's a $2.5 million award for 5 years, where I'm working with our computer science faculty with Pell Grant awardees on helping them. My part will be mentoring and advising. I don't do computing stuff, but I'll be working with them about how to find jobs, how to connect to campus, and eventually I think we'll do some evaluation style research, but that's a few years away. Most recently, I'm looking at the literature on advising of non-white graduate students and some of the needs that they have, both thinking about in-person and versus online settings. And that's, this might seem less relevant, but June 1st, I'm holding a local history conference where I'm collaborating with faculty across the country to host a conference here on local history of the Roman Empire and adjacent communities. We have 100 attendees so far, or people that are going to attend. So if you want to attend, let me know. And the reason to show up is that we are going to have a session on Latinos in education. And eventually the people that are presenting this particular conference are that's going to be part of a edited blog. So that's it. If any of that seems relevant. I think I can only serve as second reader right now because I just started this, so I couldn't be a chair based on.
Not yet, but we're trying to get you.
Based on policy. So I'm done. Thank you.
Part of the reason why we always have to recruit new folks is because we can't grow, we can't admit more students until we have more people who are willing to be chairs for those students. Because otherwise it's the same over and over. Oh, something I forgot to mention earlier is that according to our bylaws, each chair can only be the chair of 2 students per cohort. Right? For each cohort. Yeah. So you have 6 at any one time, plus anybody from the previous cohorts who hasn't graduated. Okay?
Chair, not reader.
Yeah, chair.
Chair, not reader.
You can be reader as many times as you want, but the chair, right? And so we asked, so somebody like, let's say, like Dr. Munoz, as long as he's the second reader one time, then the next time he can be the chair. And that's because there's a lot of knowledge that is involved in being the chair. For just so you know, the way the system is set up, for the first year and a half, you all, in a sense, belong to us. I'm your advisor on record. We have Dr. Ortiz. We have Candy Sykes. We have our folks. Once you take your comprehensive exams, then we pass you on to the faculty. Okay? So everybody in the new cohort who haven't done your comprehensive exams yet, I'm your faculty on record. I'm your chair on record. Once you pass the comps, then we gladly hand you over to whoever you have in mind to be your chair. Next, we have Guillermo Aviles Rodriguez. There you go.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, I'm Guillermo Aviles Rodriguez, and I'm one of the affiliate faculty members. I started working here last semester. Before that, I was at CSUN, California State University, in Northridge for 9 years, and as a lecturer, and I also lectured at UCLA in the English and the Chicano Studies department for 4 years before coming here. While I was doing that, I was also getting my PhD in something called performance studies at UCLA in the theater, film and television department. And so I'm freshly minted PhD 2 years ago, and I have a lot of ideas about how to maneuver that. So if you're interested in any of them, I'd love to share those with you. Even if I don't end up on your committee, I'd love to talk to you about it. I think it's clear that students of color have unique challenges when it comes to PhD programs. And the more we can talk to each other and help each other with strategies, the better. Another thing, if your research relates to San Bernardino, my sister graduated from the sociology department about 10 years ago, and my mother lives across the street from the university at University Park. So I have some connections to the community that are beyond working here. If you've ever heard, it's relatively new methodology, but it's a research practice partnerships in which the priority in research becomes not extracting information from subjects or community groups, but in collaborating with them respectfully so that you just don't only take information, but you give information that people can benefit from that. I grew up in South LA in Watts, and went off to school in Boyle Heights, and then I went to the University of Utah to get my bachelor's and learned a lot from being in that mostly Anglo population, and then went off to get my master's at UCSD and then my PhD after working in LUSD for about 6 years. So I have a lot of experiences that I'd love to share with you. And I guess before I leave you, I want to give you the one biggest part of advice that I received is that you should treat your seminars and your classes as first drafts of your chapters. So start figuring out what you want to write your dissertation on, and then start drafting the chapter for that dissertation when you do your seminars, because then you'll get a head start. And believe me, writing is hard. Writing fast is even harder, and writing well is the hardest. But as a second reader, that's what I'm eligible to do. I love having conversations about being clarity and messaging and writing, and so in that regard, I can bring that very easily. I'd love to talk to any of you about anything else that you want to talk about, and let's see, make sure. The last thing is that I wouldn't be here were it not for the CDIP program, which is the Chancellor's Incentive Program. And so I can also talk to you about that, because it's not too early for you to start thinking about using that as a possible strategy. Thank you so much.
Dr. Calmenda.
Music, we're recording. We're recording.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carmen Beck, but my official name is Carmen Luz Maria Ponce Rodriguez Grados de Beck. All right, so nobody get confused about that. So I am Peruvian. I was born there and raised there, and I came here as an adult, if you can consider an 18-year-old an adult. So most of my school years were there, and then the university years were here. So my background is in K-12 education. I started as a bilingual aide, and I became a teacher and went all the way to assistant superintendent of education services.
So I probably have done any job you can imagine at the school. And I was an administrator for probably 20 years. So I've been a vice principal, curriculum vice principal, principal, director of curriculum and instruction, and then assistant soup. So I have a lot of experience in that world, a lot of experience in action research. But as you all know, if you're in K-12, we don't publish. We present to the board, right? We do our studies, we collect data, we do the critical reflection, and we don't do publications. So that part of my life has begun when I started here. I have a few publications, white papers and stuff before I came here 5 years ago. And I was a lecturer here, and now since, for the last 2 years, I've been an assistant professor. And I am very proud to say that I am working on those publications, and I probably have 9 in 2 years, so I'm happy to report. I am here to tell you that for me, the most important thing is to have a social justice lens. I have worked with, in different areas, English learners. I have worked in administration, of course, women leadership, Latinx issues. But what is most important to me is those intersectionalities. Those areas are not pure. And my most important thing is to give every student an opportunity to be successful. And if they're not successful, then we need to look within, right? As teachers, we have to look in the mirror and say, what is it that is not working out, and how am I going to change practice so it starts working for our students? Our systems, right now, our school systems are getting the results that they're exactly designed to produce. There are no surprises. So it's up to us to redesign those systems so our students can be successful. And that's where my research is. I'm happy to work with you. I have experience in all those areas of education, English learners, school immersion, special education, full inclusion. I was a principal when we included all our special education students and were successful. And also I would like to say that I have a lot of experience on turning schools around, improving systems from within, empowering the teachers that are within that system so they in turn can be motivated and excited to change things for their students. So those are all the areas I have. You can see there. I don't want to read them to you, but if you are interested in working with me, I can tell you this: we'll engage in a journey together. This is a collaborative approach, and we'll be learning as you go through the process. It is your journey, and I'm just there to support you. Okay? That's it. If you want any more information, let me know. You can email me. Very easy. Feedback. Feedback. You, and I will send you my resume if you want to see it.
Thank you, Dr. Knight.
Dr. Jess Blockner.
Mark, are you ready? So, hey everyone, I am Dr. Jess Blockner. I have the privilege of saying I am both a product of the EDD and now an instructional faculty member affiliated in the EDD. So I was in cohort 13. I'm full-time faculty in the Department of Communication Studies. And I completed my doctorate in this program at the end of 2021. My chair recommended that I pitch my dissertation as a book, which then published as an edited scholarly publication in 2022. And in 2023, I got added as affiliate faculty. I'm teaching my first course in the program right now. I'm teaching under the mentorship of Dr. Stanley Schwartz, who's been doing this for 55 years. So I'm learning every day and loving it, but I'm teaching the leadership and program development class for students with disabilities. in our EDD. And yes, I love it. It's so exciting. I just get to do this nerdy deep dive of my most favorite topics to talk about ever. I am on special assignment this year as well, so I am the Faculty Inclusion Fellow for Disability Difference and Accommodation. It's the very first time that we know of that anyone has ever performed that role in any of the Cal States across the entire Cal State system. It's amazing, but I'm a product of this program. I could not have been amplified in the work that I'm doing now without getting my EDD here, right? So that makes me really excited. And I'm honored to just continue to be involved in the program. I would love to work with any of you, all of you. My research areas are autism inclusion, disability inclusion. I mean, if you can't tell already from the stuff I'm talking about, autism inclusion, disability inclusion. I opened the first neurodiversity space on our campus and the first that we know of that's kind of the way that this one is across the Cal States this year. We do a lot of programming out of it. So I'm half thought out by student affairs, if you're a student affairs person, I'm half thought out by faculty affairs. And so in addition to serving on the student affairs side, we're also doing like research and scholarship and uplifting neurodiversity as a really important scholarly thread as part of the critical scholarship, right? So my background's also in teacher preparation, CRT, DISCRIT, which is disability critical scholarship, and just really looking at how systems have the opportunity to do better in serving our students with disabilities, and in particular, our students with autism. I have lived experience in that area because I'm a parent advocate for a student who's a first year in college, who is a person with autism himself, that's why he refers to himself. He's also a pediatric cancer survivor. So I was doing this long before I was doing that part of it long before I was in any program. You know, I would love to just learn more about all of you, your interests, your passions, the things that brought you here. I would definitely say, if your interests touch disability inclusion or autism inclusion, I would especially love to get to know you. If they don't, I would love to talk with you too. They might more than you know, right? 25% of the population is disabled at any given time. So there's a lot of opportunity to serve the whole population more and thinking about more of the whole population. Also, the neurodiversity space is on the 4th floor of UH. It's open 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that's open to everyone. Nobody needs to prove themselves to go and hang out there. We've got an amazing reading library of the best critical scholarship and disability studies scholarship in that space that's available for anyone to read and come and hang out. We've got like a full sensory zone and fidgets and stuff too. So, you know, it's worthy of seeing some of the cool things that the institution is doing and uplifting for you know, for alumni, right? If there's something you're passionate about, you can see the thread of where it might go and coming and just getting to, you know, for us to get to know each other more. So I'm excited to work with you. I can't wait to learn more about all of you. I hope to see you in a future iteration of one of my classes. And, you know, welcome to the program and, you know, come talk to me anytime. I'll be here just like everyone else.
Last but not least is Dr. Bernardino. I would have to mention again, he cannot be a chair. A reader maybe, but he is completely full for all current cohorts. Okay. I think it's fine.
Okay, thank you. I'm Enrique. For the new cohort, you probably just know me because I teach a course during the summer. Born and raised in Southeast Los Angeles in Pension Park. First generation Chicano. My mother is from an indigenous tribe in Mexico. So I also identify as Native American, as Native, so it's Chicano, which also includes the Native American. Then see, in terms of the academics, I have a bachelor's from UCLA. I have 4 masters. I have 3 teaching credentials, and then I have my PhD from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. It's a very unique PhD, which is totally interdisciplinary. So my field is called Foundations of Education, which means it's interdisciplinary cross-disciplinary and in a sense non-disciplinary. So it's like, how does history inform? How does sociology inform? How does the psychological foundations inform? How does everything inform education? Out of all my cognitive areas, the one I'm the strongest in is anthropology. So I'm actually a cultural anthropologist by training. So I'm an educational anthropologist. Something you may not know is that I'm only in this position 40% of my time. Okay, so even though I'm here full-time, you can come and someone is in the office, and probably myself, I'm in the office all day. It's only 40% time on record. The other half of my time is with LEAD, Latino Education Advocacy Days, and I have another office up here on the 3rd floor, 305. And it has to do with the Latino education projects on our campus since that we've started since 1999. I just completed my 25th year altogether, but here at this campus, but more than 40 years altogether in higher education. I have more than 300 academic publications, and I come out with at least 1 or 2 books a year. In fact, this year alone, I think I have 8 publications. 3 of those are books. One of my specialties, besides Latino education, is undocumented students. So anything around undocumented students, anything around assessment. For 4 years, I was the pupil assessment reviewer for the state of California, which means I reviewed every state item on every standardized test in California. So I did that for 4 years. For 4 years, I also served as your commissioner for financial aid. So I had a budget of in the billions. I think it was $9.6 billion budget, all the financial aid in California. Currently, I serve as a White House advisor. So I go to Washington 3 days out of the month. So if I'm not here, I'm in Washington. So I'm doing all that stuff. But in terms of our doctorate, I'm filled up altogether, but I can still be a second reader for anybody who's looking for a second reader. Not that I'm looking for more things to do, but let's say you're in a bind and you need a second reader, I can serve as a second reader, but I'm already committed as being the chair first reader, including for members of the new cohort. I'm already, okay? Are there any questions? Okay, so what's next? Okay, so
It's breakout, y'all. Just have conversations, eat up the rest of the food.
Take off whenever you're ready, and thank you for joining us. We will be having some more events coming up, including our town hall on
May 7th,
May.
town hall. Yeah, May 7th.
Yeah, May 7th. That is where you guys can come to us and talk to us. I'll have a set of questions set up where you guys can give us some feedback on your experience in the program. Okay, and so you guys will be able to talk to me, it'll be me, any of you, for all the students to come in, just answer some questions and give me your feedback of what you've experienced so far. Thanks for joining us. Good.
Thank you for coming out on a Saturday.